What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of the Brad Shanler Show. How fucking original. Man, I just realized I have some shit in my beard.
Breakfast.
Right? With me today, I have Dustin Terrio.
Dustin Terrio.
Dustin Terrio. Let me fuck that up some more, right? Dustin Terrio, ex-drummer of Bound by Betrayal. We Are Nothing. I'm really good friends with Dustin. I was in a band with him. Actually, technically, I guess it was two bands with you. What other bands were you in?
Yeah. So my musical journey hasn't been as long as you and Pat, for instance, but I started playing drums when I was maybe 12 or 13. And in middle school, I did a talent show class band thingy, and we played Enter Sandman. That was my first band. And then after that, I got into a cover band with some friends up in Stafford. And that actually lasted a while. It was like a year and a half. And it kind of got me used to playing in front of people and hanging around the same group of guys for an extended period of time. And then right after that, I moved out of my parents' house to Enfield. And that's where I met Pat and Tony. And shortly after that, we started We Are Nothing. So
Tony was in We Are Nothing?
Where we once stood. He was involved at the beginning. Like Pat and Tony came as a tandem. Tony was going to play bass, but then Tony didn't want to do it anymore. So even though he was the one looking, he didn't want to do it. So I was like, okay. And that's when we found Adam, or Adam found us.
Sorry, but I mean, like, if I'm going to take a basis, I'm gonna take Adam over Tony. No offense to Tony, great musician, but Adam's definitely the better.
Honestly, I don't even know.
You what?
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about the way Adam plays bass. It's one of the most incredible bass players I've ever seen. So I think it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely did. He's one of a hell of a musician.
Any instrument.
If you get to work with him, you get better at your instrument for working with him. Same with, Pat as well.
They push you.
I worked with Pat a couple different times when it came to guitars and music and whatnot. So, hey man, so it's been a while since I've seen you. I think the last time I saw you, your kid was collecting bottles, and you came over to collect the bottles that I had.
Oh yeah,
it's been a while, right? So what's been going on during quarantine, bro? How have you been? You still working? How's the family?
Yeah, COVID sucks.
And I think everybody can agree there.
Oh yeah, I know it's affected a lot of people worse than it's affected me, so I can't complain too much. Life for me has pretty much been normal. I've been working the same hours. The company I work for does a lot of medical stuff, so we never really.
You guys probably been super fucking busy.
Yeah, it actually at the beginning we were busier than normal, and then as far as like going out and stuff, we just don't. We go out to eat every once in a while if a restaurant looks like they're doing things right, because we want to keep the local businesses open. So we try to stay local and support those guys. But other than that, we've just been staying at home, hanging out, which I'm kind of happy about because I don't really get to hang out with my family that much.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when we were in a band together, it was a lot of band, a lot of work, little family. And I always felt like that sucked for your family because, you got three little ones, awesome little ones. And your wife is pretty fucking awesome too. Shout out to Shannon.
Oh yeah. And she's number one.
Yeah. Awesome. She lets you basically do what like you need to do.
Yeah,
whatever.
just very, very understanding woman.
Very respect. She lets you, do what you need to do. So have you been playing any music? I see assembled behind you, so I'm assuming you're probably down in your basement.
I keep the drums in my daughter's room. That's her bed.
Oh, poor girl, man. Like, daddy wants. Does she go up to it and just start smashing on it sometimes?
Oh yeah, they all play it. They all come in here and wreak havoc, and they try not to do it when I'm home because they think they'll get in trouble, but I don't really care.
Right. At least somebody's playing it, So I'm assuming you've seen some of the videos that I've done. I know you saw the one that I did with Pat just recently.
Yeah.
And so we'll just go wherever the fuck this brings us. What inspired you to start playing drums?
So that's interesting because I never had an interest in drums at first. When I was a kid, my dad was big into the 80s metal, like Van Halen, Motley Crue, Sabbath, those guys. So Randy
All right, I can respect those.
Zakk Wylde, and Eddie Van Halen obviously was huge for me. And I always wanted to play guitar because of that. So my parents got me some how to play guitar DVDs and an acoustic guitar. And
Fucking
I remember
DVDs,
sitting there
man.
oh my God, it was horrible. So I'm sitting there and it took me like a good 2 weeks before I realized this isn't gonna work. I just don't have the dexterity for this. It's just it wasn't meant to be. And my uncle has always been a drummer, and I don't know why it didn't really put two and two together. Where I was like, oh, why don't I just play drums like him? But he invited me over a couple times, let me play on his drum set, and there was this one day where he was in the studio with his band recording a song or something, just one song, and he's like, oh, this dude's a world-class guitar player, just start playing and he'll play along to you, it'll be fun. So I get in there and I just start laying down a basic rhythm, and it turned into like a 7-minute jam session, and it was really fun. And I was like, maybe I could do this.
Right. I remember the first time I got behind a drum set with another musician playing guitar. My buddy Aaron. I used to skip. What was it? Music theory. Actually, I would skip a music class to go play drums. Yeah. And so my buddy and I, we would play Nirvana. Right. We would play like Nirvana, Green Day, all these punk band stuff, and we would just do it for like 45 fucking minutes. And like when I come around and it smells like Teen Spirit, it was just like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. So
it is fun. It's a great release of energy.
It's super awesome
with it.
It's super awesome, especially because you're actually getting exercise while sitting down.
Oh yeah,
and you're not getting
down,
that type
really
of exercise.
Feel like you're sitting down.
Yeah, you're not really getting that type of exercise playing any other instrument. So I know who your favorite band is. Yeah, right. Unless you're Pat with fucking like long ass hair, head banging, and So we got what was the first band that got you interested in? You wanted to play guitar, so obviously there was something that got you interested in that. You said Zakk Wylde, Eddie Van Halen, that type of stuff. What type of newer music? And I'm not talking drums. I'm talking like guitar. At your age, what ended up getting you like inspired to want to be able to play guitar? Because I mean, obviously your parents, awesome, but like there had to have been some musical influence, some like, oh, I heard this, so this is what I want to do.
Yeah, so obviously it started with the parents and what he was listening to. My grandmother didn't really listen to music that much. When she did, it was classical, so I like classical music too. But in terms of what the music that was mainstream when I was growing up, it was it was the mid '90s, late '90s, and it was fucking boy bands and shit. It was terrible. But like,
Right.
hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's catchy, you know. I still listen to that stuff sometimes too, but obviously I
Yeah,
wanted to.
you can't always just listen to metal, dude. You get
No,
inspiration
dude,
from everywhere.
I listen to everything, and I enjoy listening to everything. Otherwise, I get bored. But
Exactly.
in terms of like when I started listening to people actually playing instruments and stuff, I think it was because the singing and dancing and lip syncing thing was so big back then that I wanted to do something that nobody else was doing.
Right.
So that natural, like, screw that, that's what everyone else was doing, brought me to like
Anarchy.
CC. No, not that crazy shit, but like CCC was still around back then, and they would do metal at midnight. So I would stay up wicked late every night just to listen to the broadcast and hear what they were playing. And then same with Headbangers
Was that
Ball.
with
That was
Rick the Fluffer?
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have
Rick
to
the
shoot him.
Fluffer, Jay Raven,
I'll have to
all
shoot
those
Rick
guys
the
back in
Fluffer
the day.
a shout out on this. Show him this video so that he can be proud. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I actually used to work with him, which was fucking cool
Oh yeah,
as shit. Yeah.
yeah. I know a couple of people that know those guys.
Yeah, he was cool. I knew. I don't remember his radio name. His name was Ken. I used to work with him as well. But all right, so you were listening to CCC. You were listening to Metal at Midnight. We all listened to that in Connecticut and like Southern Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, because that was when you got to hear like the fucking heavy bands, like Arch Enemy and shit like that.
Right.
So continue with that story.
So from there, it evolved to Headbangers Ball with Jamie Josta at midnight, and I had no sleep schedule when I was a kid, so it was like I'd sleep when I got home from school, then I'd wake up and stay up all fucking morning and watch that shit. And that's where I discovered a lot of the bands that I listen to now. Back then, a huge metal movement was new metal, and that's obviously stuck with me. So
Yep.
a big band that started a lot of this for me was Korn. And so much so that even my dad was like, oh, these guys are awesome. I never heard a band play rock and roll music with bagpipes and screaming and these heavy guitars.
The first time I ever heard the bagpipes, man, I was just like, what are they doing?
I know, dude. It's so crazy.
I heard Chutes and Ladders, and I was just like, all right, like, I like this. You
yeah,
know?
Dude. I still love the shit out of Korn. I've seen them probably second most out of any band.
Yeah, they're awesome live. What other like bands? We know Korn. I know Slipknot. So what other bands?
All the new metal guys. So yeah, Korn, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. Those were huge for me.
One thing I think that people like don't end up like giving enough respect for is the Limp Bizkit back in the days. It's like, okay, I understand like they were kind of douchey and whatnot, but that $3 bill y'all CD, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, dude. That shit was fucking awesome. Like I still rock that shit. Like I feel old as fuck when I listen to it, but I'm just like, he's like, you're a fake. Yeah, it's just like I'm screaming with it because it's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, that teenage angst, that's what we're looking for.
and there was I forgot what song it was. It was on Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, and the diss track basically it was a diss track to Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. I was like, well, what's his fucking? What's your fucking problem with Trent? Like, how can you have a problem with Reznor, bro? But I still love that fucking song, man.
Just because he was huge back then, so there's a rivalry going on,
Well, they were both on Interscope, I believe.
Right. So yeah, one of them was probably the label favorite. That's probably what happened.
Well,
who knows?
Okay.
An asshole. So.
I heard different stories about him. I heard he's been pretty cool lately.
I think he's changed a lot.
Yeah. I know he had that beef with Slim Shady for a little bit. which I thought was
that's
hilarious.
just marketing, dude.
it
These guys
was
start these
fucking
fake
hilarious.
beefs just so that they're in the headlines, you know. It
Yeah,
happens
right.
quick.
Oh, we got the hottest rapper of all time, and we're just gonna start this bullshit beef. Yeah, whatever. So we got Korn, obviously Slipknot. I know you're a fan of bands like Disturbed, Godsmack, Mudvayne. I just recently found out that Slipknot went on tour with System of a Down and Mudvayne, and I was just like, really?
Yeah.
That was the Pledge of Allegiance tour, and Mudvayne opened up for. They were like a lower level band or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird. Excuse me.
So I was a little late to the game with that because I missed out on a bunch of those shows. I didn't start going to shows until I was probably 13. And that's when I was like, that's when it really hit me that I'm like, this is something I want to do, because you can't match the energy of a live show. And it's still to this day my favorite thing to do is go to a show. And I think that's what's been the hardest for me this past year and a half, is not being able to go to anything.
So you had a bunch of shit set up for your 2020.
Oh,
you were actually expecting to go to. Yeah. So let's go over the bands you were supposed to go see, the concerts that you were supposed to go to.
Oh yeah. So obviously number one for me every year is always Slipknot when they come around, because they don't come around that often. And I had 3 of their East Coast shows booked, ready to go to. All of them got canceled.
Obviously.
They had support for that tour was going to be Under Oath, which I fucking love that band. So I was really excited and then disappointed. Then Rammstein was supposed to come play New York. I had tickets to that. That got postponed, and now I don't know if it's happening this year. Killswitch Engage had a huge tour coming around. Megadeth and Trivium had a huge tour coming around. And then like Nickelback too. That's another band that I enjoy.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
That was a show. Dude, they put on a fucking great show. That was actually my first concert, was a Nickelback show.
I'll so my first show was the first band I ever saw live was Taproot. It was Taproot, nice. Pitch Shifter, and Static X. I went with my with my friend Mike Kostreva, Eric Holly, and Mike's dad Walter, who I still talk to this day, and we need to hit up a show when shows come back around. If it wasn't for Walter, actually, I probably wouldn't listen to half the shit that I listen to. Like, I give him like a lot of credit for the music that I listen to. But yeah, I went and saw Taproot. I fucking hated them then. I still fucking hate them now. I've seen them like 3 fucking times, and not because I bought the tickets to see them. It's they're playing the fucking show.
No, they're just on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember it was my first show, and it was at the Webster Theater, and people were allowed to smoke in there. You were allowed to drink on the floor and whatnot. And I was standing over I was like 16 years old. I was standing over next to one of those stairs going down to the floor. And some guy kept like walking down, walking back up, walking down, walking up backwards with a beer. And he fucking dropped his beer on me. And I was like pissed because now I'm soaked in fucking beer. I smell like beer. I hate beer. And I get home, 16 years old. My dad fucking comes up to me. He smells the fucking beer on me. He's like, "You're not fucking going to another show. You're drinking underage." I was like, "I didn't drink, Dad." Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you should know better. I wouldn't fucking. Nah, I wasn't drinking. Some dude like kept spilling fucking beer on me. So that was my first. We've
all been dumped on before.
Yeah. So Nickelback was your first show. What was I know, tell everybody else, what's your favorite show? What's your favorite? We know that your favorite band to see is Slipknot. So outside of Slipknot, Who was your favorite band to say?
Yeah, so after the new metal movement or whatever, I really got into like the Gothenburg death metal, and then I got into metalcore. And when I realized that there was a huge metalcore thing right down the street from me up in Mass, with all these amazing bands like Shadows Fall and Killswitch and Bury Your Dead, like, and to this day I think that's still the genre I listen to the most, and it's the most fun to play on drums. So the
All the
my favorite
breakdowns and
show I've
shit.
ever been to is actually, oh dude, it's so fucking brutal. So I saw Bury Your Dead at the Palladium upstairs. So
Oh
you know how the
fuck,
stage is there.
dude.
You're like you're fucking eye level with the singer and shit. And like the way Matt is when he sings for Bury Your Dead, he like puts the mic in your fucking face and you scream the words and people run up on stage and stage dive and oh my god, it's the best fucking energy ever. And I've done a couple Bury Your Dead shows with it, and they've all been like that.
They're
And
all
those are
fucking
probably
crazy.
my
People
favorite
are
shows.
like running on top of each other and shit.
Oh, it's fucking great, dude. And everybody's having a fucking blast. Everybody goes home
Yeah.
with bloody noses and shit, and nobody gives a shit.
And everybody has a fucking smile on their face. It's like, dude, that was the best show ever.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody looks at us like we're fucking crazy, and they're like, oh, maybe we are, but I don't care. Yep, most of the public doesn't get it.
Yeah, the first show I went to that was like basically shoved a mic in your fucking face type deal. I went and saw Agnostic Front with the business down in New York City at the Wetlands. I want to say it was in 2001, and I was getting sick. I think I was coming down with the flu or some shit at the time. I had no idea what I was in for. Again, I was with my buddy Walter, his son Mike, who was my best friend at the time, and I brought my younger brother Tony with me because he was starting to go to shows too, and he was one of those crazy motherfuckers. Like took his t-shirt off, fucking wailing on people and shit. Didn't realize it was actually called a dance. I never got a part of that. I never, threw hammer fist and fucking kicks and shit like that. I've never been a fan of that. I understand it in the hardcore scene, but I saw Agnostic Front, and I remember talking to the security guard there, and I asked him a question about like where I think it was like, where can I put my glasses or some shit like that, And he was like, well, I ain't holding on to them because I'm going to be doing some stage diving myself. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're the security guard. Like, you're going to be stage diving? He's like, fuck yeah, it's Agnostic Front. Dude, I saw people, I shit you not, dude. I saw, like, you see these fucking videos where people are, like, hanging on to, like, the rafters and shit and, like, running on top of people and shit. You're like, oh, that's fake. No, dude, that shit's real.
Oh yeah, dude. It's total freedom, dude. Being at a show like that, that's real freedom. Like you just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, basically. I've been to a couple of shows upstairs at the Palladium too. It's just like, fuck, dude, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like I'm gonna fucking die.
It's claustrophobic.
Oh yeah, it definitely. Like if you're down on the floor, you're fucked. Especially if there's a bit. I saw the Black Dahlia Murder, Cephalic Carnage, and I want to say it was Between the Buried and Me.
Oh, sick, dude.
Upstairs at the Palladium.
Wow.
It was. I remember the day. I don't remember the year. It was September 24th, and don't ask me how I remember that, but it was September 24th, and it was my birthday. It was like my birthday present. My roommate's mom let me borrow her Pontiac Grand Dam, red Pontiac Grand Dam, so that I could go up to the Palladium and see this band for my birthday. It was sold out. I had bought the tickets already, but it ended up being sold out. I swear to God, there was like 900 people in there.
Oh my God.
And there's pictures of me being thrown off the stage by Trevor.
That's awesome, dude. No wonder you
Yeah.
like them so much.
Yeah. Well, there's others like I love them so much. Then
Well, they're a
before
fucking
that,
incredible
and
band.
yeah, I love those guys so much. The music they put out is just incredible, and like every time they get like a new member of the band, they just get better and better. Like I like their older stuff.
Yeah,
Like
this isn't even
Miasma's
my final
probably
form.
Miasma's probably my favorite. My favorite
Yeah.
album. I think it's the most underappreciated album. Nocturnal
I'm
is so
guilty of that.
fucking good. But I mean, everything afterwards, when Ryan ended up joining the band, it was fucking great. He left the band. I don't know the new members. I don't follow them as hard as I used to, but the new music is just fucking like.
Oh yeah.
If you can't compare it from Unhallowed to the new
No,
album,
it's a
Nightbringers.
different level, you know. Doesn't even
It's
sound
like
like the same band.
no, it doesn't, and it's just wow. So, what was the first drum set you got?
Okay, so that's an interesting one too. So I've always worked for my money even as a kid. My parents would give me chores, and that's how I would earn my money, and I would just save up until I had enough to get whatever it was I was looking to get. Um, but when it came to the drum set, my first drum set was actually a gift, and it was my mom was dating this guy from a music store once, and he was playing in a bunch of bands, and somehow through her whatever her means were, she convinced him to buy me my first drum set for my birthday, and it was a nice drum set. It was a Yamaha Stage Custom. Like, it's a long time ago, but and I didn't appreciate the drum set back then because I'm like, oh, this is an old man's drum set, blah blah. But it was a nice drum set, and it was an amazing gift, and to be able to have that to practice on early on was great. And then I played that for, I don't know, 3 years while I saved up to get the drums I really wanted. And I ended up getting a D drum, and it was the purple and white sparkle kit. A lot of people have seen this drum set because it was in Step Brothers, that movie with Will Ferrell. That drum set was the same drum set I fucking bought. But I got the drum set before it was in the
put
movie.
your ball sack on it?
Oh, hundreds of times. No, so I got it before it was in the movie, and then I saw it in the movie. I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody's gonna think that's why I got it.
Right.
But I had special ordered a second. Yeah, I know. Nobody ever pointed it out, but I ended up buying a second bass drum for that kit, that from their custom shop. So the paint didn't even match and all this other shit. And I was like, what the fuck? But it was awesome, you know. It was my first true double bass drum set, and back then it was like that's all I wanted to do was look like fucking Joey Jordison if I had eaten Joey Jordison.
Yeah, the double. I've always. I don't think I've ever seen you without like a double bass set until you ended up with the newest drum set you had.
Yeah.
So we got that drum set, and you said you ended up getting the drum set that you wanted. What was that drum set?
That was the D drum. It was a D drum Dominion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they had a huge stretch, like 7-8 years, where they were like every band you saw at a festival, their drummer was playing D drum. Like, it was a big brand at the time. They had just come out with their hybrid kits that did the electronics built into the acoustics, and it was cool. It was cutting edge, and they had great finishes and great sound. And they went downhill pretty fast after that heyday thing. So that ended up being my only D drum kit I ever had. But I enjoyed it. It sounded great. It was a Birch Babinga kit, so it had the loud attack of a birch kit, but it was also, I don't know, it had the deep undertones from the Babinga. So it was a
This is
great
all
kit.
foreign language to me. I have no
I know.
fucking idea what a babinga is.
It's a tree
not
from
a drummer.
Africa. I know. I'm a gear snob.
Right, you're talking like a foreign language to me, and
I
I'm
know.
just like, okay,
Well,
let me listen.
I can go through this stuff with Tanner like it's nothing because we're both gear snobs.
Yeah, that's a guy I kind of want to get on here. I'm trying to get a hold of him to see if he'd like to come on and talk some musical shit with me. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very tough to get a hold of nowadays.
Yeah.
So
no, I hope
Tanner
he's
Johnson,
okay.
Tanner Johnson, if you happen to see this, bro, hit me up, man, and let me know you're still alive. I haven't heard from you since October-ish. So you went from the D drums. What was your gear then? Like you know, obviously you had the D drums, the shells and everything, but what was your,
Yeah.
you know, you got the skins, you got the cymbals. Let's start off simple. What was your drumstick of choice when you first started off? Because I know when I started playing, you know, because I never got like really big for drumming. I liked playing with the smaller drumsticks, like the thinner ones, but I'd always fucking break them. So
I do the same thing. So you start off and you get the small ones because you can play faster with them. But that's not necessarily the best way to start playing drums. You kind of want to build up your wrist strength, and you want to hit things at the right time. Timing is huge with the drummer, obviously. So I think it was a bad start, and I didn't really have a teacher. So this is the beginning of the YouTube era when I started playing drums. So I would sit there and watch these guys play their drums, play the songs that I wanted to play, and I would just mimic them. I would reverse engineer it and figure out how they were playing what they were playing, and I'd try it, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Then I try it again. I'm like, oh, that sounds just like what they're doing. I think I figured it out. And I would do that for hours and hours every single day after school. And eventually I ended up on the where the hell are they? The Vic Firth Extreme 5As.
okay.
Yeah, they're hickory. They're consistent and they're just really comfortable for me. They're a little thicker than what I started with. I also hit really fucking hard, so I can't have a huge drumstick or I'll break all my goddamn cymbals. Which I used to do when I had thicker drumsticks and expensive.
Yeah,
But as
I've
far
always
as drumsticks, there's that.
I've always respected the drummer. Tried to respect the drummer the most because you know they've got the most expensive equipment out of everybody in the band. I mean, you got the biggest. Yeah, unless you're you're Pat and you need two cabs, two heads.
Well,
fucking.
Yeah. If a band is doing it right, then everybody spent lots of money.
right, exactly.
Not to say that not to say you're a shit band if you don't have good gear, but have some fucking self-respect.
Buy some decent equipment, fucking put some decent shit into it. I don't know, man. I believe I was talking with Eric Valad the other day, and him and Trav from the Operation were on, and they were talking about Jack White and how he had like the shitty fucking guitar from like Walmart or some shit, and he would play it live. All he did was like gut it out and shit, like Frankenstein it basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, if
that's different,
you can do that, but because he's good at what he does, I guess.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you don't want to also be a shit player and hide behind a really nice set of equipment either. So I think a really good musician can make intermediate equipment sound good too. But why?
Yeah, I remember
I
my
get
first
it.
guitar.
If you're a kid and all you want to do is play out, then yeah, you're gonna start with the cheapest thing you got. But once you get to a point where you're like, serious about it and this is what I want to do, get the right stuff, you know. People will take you more seriously.
Okay, I went from a Fender Squier Stratocaster that my dad bought me for my 16th birthday. I don't know if it was my birthday or Christmas present. Either way, he bought it for me. He said, "Oh, it's just a phase." You know, here I am, 37 years old. I've got probably 10 guitars, a couple amps. You know, and it's just a phase. But my first guitar after the Squier Stratocaster, because the Squier was like a piece of shit. No offense, Dad. Love you. Thank you. But I ended up buying. Right, it's a beginner guitar, 129 bucks. You know, and so my first guitar that I purchased ended up being like an Ibanez fucking RX something. I don't even remember. It was such a piece of shit. I bought it for $99. I was like, okay, this sounds cool. Then I went out and bought a Gibson Epiphone Les Paul that Guitar Center ended up having on sale for like $129. I bought that. So like my first like couple guitars were pretty cheap. And then I ended up getting to make some friends at Guitar Center, and I was able to like make some deals with them. But back in the day when they were able to make deals.
Right.
And I gave this guy one of this was so fucking funny. I used to be a manager at a pizza shop, and the Guitar Center that I went to was in the same town. And all he wanted were chicken wings. And I was like, fuck it, dude. I'll trade you chicken wings. You knock my price down on this fucking guitar. Actually, it's this guitar right here that I bought off of them, my ESP LTD Viper. I ended up buying it for like 150 bucks. It was like a $400 guitar. All I gave him was like 50 chicken wings, and he knocked the price down to like 150 bucks. I still love this guitar. I've always been a fan of like the Gibsons and whatnot, because, you know, you see like Angus Young playing them. You saw like Metallica was playing them and shit. And then my best friend, Richie, he was a Les Paul guy. And I was never really like, I didn't like Les Pauls that much because, I mean, I had one, but I didn't, and I liked the shape of it and everything, but it was too fucking heavy for me. And the same with the SGs, you know, they have heavy wood. And when I found the Viper and ESPs, I was like, well, fuck, dude. They make the exact same type of fucking guitars that I like, the shapes that I like. And, you know, I'll just end up getting that. And so I did. I used that guitar. I haven't played it in probably a year, but still, it's here.
But you're more of a gear snob than you thought.
Not really.
You know what you're talking about.
Know. No, I don't. I don't know shit, dude. Ask me about my fucking amps, dude.
Oh, the ones with no
I have a solid
in
state. I have. Oh wow, what a dick, dude. That's not an amp. That's a cabinet.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know about guitar stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I think Pat and I were just talking about that the other day too. So we got Slipknot, we've got Disturbed. Every time we would play or like jam out and whatnot, you would pull out Stupefy. One of my favorite things to play with you was Gently. You know, when I was playing bass with Where We Once Stood. And so yeah, what is your favorite memory playing out?
Yeah, there's been a bunch of them. I think I watched the video you did with Pat, and he brought up the Webster Underground Battle of the Bands that we did with We Are Nothing. And that was an incredible show. Like he said, man, the response from the crowd was something that I just never expected. And it felt nice. Like he said, like, wow, these a lot of strangers in the room, and it sounded like they actually liked us, and we weren't used to that. So it felt good. But I think my favorite show is still the first show that we played with We Are Nothing, because it was at the Webster Underground, pay to play, typical bullshit. But we because we were new, we got all of our friends to go in and buy tickets, and we got the last spot on the second stage before Fear Factory's tour came on. And I love fucking Fear Factory so much, and it was so cool for me to like.
You fucked Fear Factory?
I love them so much.
You said you love fucking Fear Factory so much.
I love fucking Fear Factory so much. Like, they're so good in bed. I met Dino that night. I snuck in and watched their rehearsal on the main stage and got yelled at by security. But I was like, I don't give a fuck. It was awesome. And so like the whole vibe that night was like, this is cool. Like, I'm around legends and I'm doing what I love with my friends. And we got up on stage and we played, and everyone at the Webster was watching us play in the underground at that time. And the main stage already started and nobody was in there. And it was really cool.
That was the exact same response that we got when Pat and I were in Kill Your Demons. We opened up for Wasp. Wasp was the only band on the main stage, and the entire underground was packed. I wasn't at the show that you're speaking of, but the entire show, the entire underground. I mean, like, you have a couple, like 150 people in there. That's packed.
Oh yeah, big time.
You know, that it's a small place.
Yeah, the fire marshal would be pissed.
Right, you're a brand new band. It's your very first show, and you've got that many people in there. It's like, holy shit, we've made it. You know, and then you come down to reality when you play your next show.
And then your next show, your dreams are crushed.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing in front of 5 people, and 4 of them are the band's girlfriends.
And we had more than our fair share of great shows in that band, but we also had a good 75% of them that were playing in front of the bands and their girlfriends.
Yeah, so that's always the worst feeling. It's like playing in front of like 4 or 5 people. It's not the worst feeling, because you know you're still gonna try and give the same energy no matter what, because you don't want people thinking that you're some fucking schmuck, snob asshole who's like, oh man, we should be playing in front of 500,000 people. You know, you're not fucking. No. You're not Metallica. You're not.
None of us. You know, none of us are that good.
Right. Well, you know, maybe some of you guys are, but so your favorite show was that show. Now let's get the answer to this. Who were some of your favorite bands to play with?
Locally?
Locally, we know nationally Fear Factory was cool. You can give us some national acts that you liked playing with.
I wouldn't say we played with them though, you know. So
you played the same shows.
Yeah. No, it was just Fear Factory, Mushroom Head, maybe a couple bands like that. But as far as the local bands go, like, we made really good friends with She Walks Without Legs, those guys. My personal favorites were always some of the shore bands like ACS and Dream of Scipio, Light's Bane, rest in peace.
The gayest band on earth.
The gayest band on earth. They were those guys are all incredibly talented musicians. They've all been doing it a very long time. They're all technically proficient, and they're all gear snobs. So I really enjoyed watching those guys play compared to some of the other bands. And honestly, like, I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm an easygoing guy, and I enjoyed meeting every single person I ever met in the Connecticut music scene.
Yep, just go figure. You ended up in a band with me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. I've met some of my best friends, including you and Pat, in this journey, so I can't say anything bad about anything that's happened, because I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything either. I've enjoyed, you know, my time doing what I did. For right now, I think I'm gonna take a step back from the situation, from playing out and whatnot. I think I need to focus on some other things, and I like something like this. I feel will help me and probably get me back with that itch to get back out and play, or to get with a group of people and play again. It's just like I have other ventures that I'm looking at doing, and right now music isn't one of them. And I mean, this is basically me doing something music related. So,
yeah, no, it's cool reflecting back on everything too. So
yeah,
and it
it's
helps
cool
with
to
your
look back
podcast.
on the shit that is. It's cool to look back at some of the shit that you've done, while you're like getting older in age, and especially with the whole quarantine thing. It's like, fuck, man, I really do miss playing in front of 5 people. Like, man, imagine if I could really sit in front of 5 people right now at Cherry Street. No offense to Cherry Street. I love Cherry Street. Sarah, Dennis, all you guys. I love Cherry Street. Man, I would really love Scotty to do my sound right now.
Oh my God. Yeah, it makes you appreciate it a little bit more now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like, I remember one time I was setting up my bass amp, and I had you could direct in to my amp, and Scotty put a microphone to my amp, and I was like, well, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He's like, oh, yeah. I got you, bro. I got you. And I was like, nah, dude, direct in. And it took him, I think it was like the 3rd or the 4th song before I was just like, dude, what the fuck? I can't even hear myself. And my amp is like all the way up. Like, I can't hear shit through the monitors. I miss that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I miss it. Yeah.
So
I love playing out. I love the energy, but there's a lot of the stuff that you do playing out that felt like work that I don't miss.
right, bringing your gear
Loading
up,
your gear
fucking
in,
5,
loading your gear out, sound
Yep.
check,
Yep.
playing for half an hour, and then it's all over.
Right, you
It's
do all
fun for
this
a
shit.
while.
You drive for 2 hours to get to a place. You play for 15, 20 minutes. You pack up and you drive 2 hours home, and then you get like $10, $15 out of it or some shit. It's
If
like,
you're
well,
lucky.
yeah. No, I never did it for the money. I just did it because I absolutely love the.
No,
I love the energy,
exactly.
and it was something. It was something to just do.
Love
it was
hanging
a
out with
hobby.
your friends.
Exactly.
And playing out.
Now,
yeah.
You've played. For, how many years have you been playing? You're what, like 24, 25?
29.
Okay. I don't know your age, so you're about to be 30, motherfucker. You're getting old.
29 now. I know. I got some
So
gray
you're
in the
29
beard.
years old. I'm getting some fucking grays in my beard, and I'm loving it. So 29 years old. You've been playing for 13 years. What are some of your favorite places that you have played?
Yeah, the whole local loop, I would say. Cherry Street's always been great. Great people, great atmosphere, and probably the most regulars.
Right.
Cook's Cafe was fun. They had a cool stage setup.
Yeah, I can't believe Pat and I forgot the fucking name of that band.
Yeah.
Or not band.
I thought you were talking about
bar.
that Tazrax or something. I thought you meant, because I'm like, yeah, I would have forgot that too.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that place.
It's right across the river.
Yeah, I actually just saw a picture of all of us and playing there, and I forgot that was the name of the place. I was like, oh, there's that bar, that thing.
Yeah, I think that lyric video we made for Fight Against Yourself had all the pictures from that show. But yeah, we done some stupid shit. No, I think
that
Webster
photo
shows were
shoot
always my
though was
favorite.
fucking hilarious.
Oh, dude, we always had fun with it. If we're not having fun, then what the fuck's the point? But yeah, the Webster was my favorite, I think.
The Webster, huh?
Just because of the history.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Now, did you ever get to play the main stage?
No, never.
Oh, dude.
That would have been an
So
experience. I was
I
hoping that we
played
get to that level, but it never happened.
I played the main stage once. And
Yeah.
what they say about it, like the that reverb and whatnot, it was always a problem. And
Oh,
I heard it from like other bands and
yeah.
whatnot. But it was still cool to be like, I played on the fucking main. I played on the main stage. I want to say actually, I think it was twice. I actually played in a Dark Tomorrow, and we had Adam on vocals. He ended up being a guest spot. Like he came
Wow.
in, and I think I forgot what song it was. It probably was Capacity, but yeah, I remember that because I had a wireless setup, and I ran down to my dad who was out back towards the bar, and I was playing guitar while staring at him, making him feel fucking uncomfortable as shit.
That's awesome. Yeah, it would have been
So,
cool to be up there on a real stage, you know?
yeah, well, you know what? That stage was. It had like there was a part where like "Don't step here," like a big X or something, and it
Yeah.
says "Don't step here" because if you step there, you're fucking going through it. But yeah,
Yep.
the one place that I've wanted to play was the Palladium, and so
Yeah.
with that
Same.
being said, where's the yeah? So I was about to ask, where's the one place that you have wanted to play?
Yeah, we never even played the upstairs there. I don't know. Like we are nothing. We were really heavy in on the shows, and for whatever reason, we never got the opportunity to play there on either stage. And that would have been really cool for me because when I was growing up in Stafford and going to all these shows every other weekend, and it was right after I got my license, so I was driving by myself up to Worcester and rocking out to the show by my fucking self, and then driving home in the middle of the night, exhausted and beat up. And so there's a lot of sentimental value to me there, and it would have been cool to play there. But who knows? Never say never, I guess.
You know, now that the Webster is owned by the same people that own the Palladium, I think there would be more like a more camaraderie to where like you would get bands
Possibly.
from like the Connecticut scene who would be able to play up there.
Yeah, you
I mean,
switch them.
yeah, you know,
Have Mass
you
come
would
down
you would
here
do
and vice
Mass come to
versa.
Connecticut, yeah, because it seems like you get the same people to play there. All right, I understand the pay to play thing. That's whatever. I'm not going to knock it because it works for their business aspect of it, and you're doing the small band a favor. But like I know Atheist, Dream of Scipio, not knocking any of these guys at all. Begat the Nephilim, they would always play these shows at the Palladium, and it was like, well, dude, we got this place. We have this place in Hartford that could use, some of these bands, like get Dream of Scipio at the Webster, get, Begat the Nephilim at the Webster. That would be fun as shit. And, I don't know. It just seemed like they were ass backwards there for a little bit. And I'm hoping that, with the whole COVID and the quarantine and whatnot, that, these places don't end up shutting down because I know the Webster was having a problem for a while. And
Yeah, the
now that they're not
Palladium's had a
having,
fundraiser or two.
yeah, and I can only assume that the Palladium's probably running into the same situation. So we're getting down to the wire here, to the end of the episode, and I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Just kind of like rapid fire type shit. Favorite band,
Shoot. Slipknot.
least favorite band.
I don't really have one.
Oh, come on, man! It's not
I
Backstreet Boys.
No, I love the Backstreet Boys. No, I don't.
It's
I don't
it's not
focus
it's
my
not the guy
energy
that
on
sings
negative things.
fucking Baby Shark.
Yeah, I'll kill that motherfucker.
um, we got your
No,
favorite
I
places
don't
to.
care. I can't think of anything, honestly.
Favorite place, Webster. Have you ever played Rhode Island outside of the Bound by Betrayal show that we played out there?
Yeah, we are nothing twice, I think, outside of
Okay.
Providence.
Okay. So, do you know where it
there was
was?
never anyone there.
Okay. So, okay, we got that. And I don't know. Fuck
I
it.
don't even know the name of the place.
Your favorite show was the first show that you guys played at the Webster. Did you have a favorite show with Bound by Betrayal? Come on, man. Don't leave me in the dark here. Don't fucking.
It's nothing against you guys, man. You know that. It's just we didn't play great shows with Bound by Betrayal.
We didn't have
in comparison to what I had been through.
Yeah, with where we would stand.
We had our great shows, but
we had teeter-totter
shows in the other band. Yeah.
Personally, in my personal opinion, I think our best show was the last show that we had.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I think the energy was the best at that show.
The 13th floor, I believe it was called. We were playing for Promoter Head. So that was probably yeah. I'd have to say my favorite show that I've played.
There's a lot of stairs.
Yeah, right. One of my favorite shows that I played was RPM Fest. If you end up with another band or whatever, and you get a chance to, I would totally tell you guys would have. I don't know who you'd be in a band with, probably Pat, but I would tell you 100% go with RPM Fest.
I've heard amazing things about everybody camping out together. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Dude, the first night I was there, I didn't drive up there. I didn't have a fucking tent. I didn't have a sleeping bag. I just went up there. I didn't give a fuck what I was gonna do. I was planning on get pissed, blackout drunk, and just passing out somewhere. And Angie ended up. Angie and Marissa let me sleep on. Like they had a. Marissa had a. Like I don't know what to call it. It was like a bed. She had like a cot or something, and then Angie had, I think she had like a sleeping bag or something, or a blow up, whatever. And I just slept on the ground, and I was fucking drunk as shit. I remember I woke up and my glasses were like this, you know. I woke up, I had the worst fucking hangover, and the part that sucked the most is like I ended up passing out at like 4:00 in the morning, and I woke up at like 6:30.
Oh my god.
And music started in like a couple hours, and I was just like, fuck. And I was supposed to be like the security that day too, and I was just like, this isn't gonna be good. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm like,
I'm not stopping anyone today.
Yeah, it was. Those
are the nights you remember the most.
If you even, yeah, definitely. If you get a chance, I would definitely check it out. Even if you just go in as a spectator, you know, a fan or whatever. But Dustin, it's been a lot of fun having you on. Yeah.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun having you on, bro. I appreciate everything that we have gone through.
Hopeful for the future.
Yeah, hopefully we get some music in the future, live music. So I appreciate the fact that you came on here, bro, and you talked with me a little bit. This will end up being on Spotify at some point. I'm just working through some kinks right now, especially with the fact that it's a brand new show. Everybody out there, please make sure to go add the Twitter page. It is Brad Shanler Show. I will leave it in the YouTube description. Add that. You will see live videos streaming on there from now on. Every time I have a new person coming on to interview, I have some wicked awesome stuff coming up next weekend. I'm not going to spill the beans right now, but if you are a fan of hardcore music, you will not want to miss the episode that I'm going to have next week with, I'm going to just say legend. So, Dustin, thank you so much, everybody. Talk to you next time.
All right, man. Thank you.